Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. It's Friday Eve once again, and we hope that you've made it through the week. So far, so good, and we hope it's wrapping up well for you, and that you're just one day or so out from having a wonderful weekend. And it's Father's Day weekend, so happy Father's Day to all the dads and the dad figures out there. We appreciate what you do. Now, we just wanted to get into a little bit of what we've got going on workerscompensation.com and remind you about some of the things that you can find on Simply Research and how to get yourself a free 7-day trial of Simply Research. So here we go. Got some great stuff in store for you today, including one of the all-time experts in MSA compliance, Sean Dean. He's kind of our lead off today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the site, let you know what you can get into, what you can learn, and how you can get some more of it. All right, we're going to go ahead and share the screen. Boom, we're already working on tomorrow's stuff. We're going to have a good lineup in store for you tomorrow, I think, and have a Supreme Court case out of Missouri, see what the high court in that state said. A little bit of an interesting area of law, but we'll leave it for tomorrow and let you read the summary when the case file actually is going to be a case file that yours truly will be putting together. So that'll be up and running for you here not too long, and you can get into what's the latest in Missouri. But what's the latest today? We mentioned Sean Dean of J29. There he is there, keeping us up to speed on what CMS is up to. For a while there, it seemed like CMS was just going to keep having things happen. They were busy for a little bit. It's kind of slowed down a little bit, but they have some stuff going on. There's a webinar coming up pretty soon here, and they haven't had a webinar since March. So that's coming up on the 17th, actually. So I'll be next week, 2 o'clock. You can find all the links and all the information for that right here in the piece from Sean. And some CDC. There you go, the CDC Life Table. So there's information about that and what you need to know about that. So Sean, as always, breaks it down so that it's understandable. A lot of this stuff is dense, methodical to get through. He knows his stuff on that, so he gets us right through it, lets us know what we need to know and what else we need to know. It's an expert analysis kind of day. We appreciate NCCI submitting a court case update for us out of Washington. Again, nice, easy to understand. The legal experts there at NCCI keep us up to speed, and we appreciate them doing that. So you can find it there. And of course, there's more information on NCCI's website. We're big fans of NCCI. They take good care of us, and they always produce very interesting content. Their AIS conference year after year is just a rich source of information about the industry and, kind of the numbers that drive the industry and what's going on there. So check them out. Check this post out. And if you want to know some Oregon basics, we break that down for you today. And we break that down for you thanks to Simply Research, what we'll say a little bit more about in just a second. So, it's just some rules here that, if you're in Oregon and you're looking for some things, this gives you sort of a highlight of the kind of information you can find. But we have this kind of information on Simply Research, not just for Oregon, but all U.S. jurisdictions, including we've got federal, longshore, federal government, all that good stuff. Every state and territory in the U.S. So the workers' compensation law, we've got it covered on Simply Research. And so you might be thinking, well, what is this Simply Research all about? Well, you can get yourself a free trial by going to this page right here. If you're not ready to sign up for that bargain price of $99 per month, you can go to this link right here, free trial. 7 days, no risk, no strings attached. We won't bug you. We're not going to spam you and do nothing like that. Enter your information. That'll set you up with a free week of Simply Research. So you can get in there, dabble with it, see if that's anything that is useful to you. And, what are you going to find when you're there? Well, let's just take a look at it. Go in and see what's new, what's been added to our site. We have a compliance team that works diligently. They're a hardworking team, and they want to keep you up to speed. And they also want to make sure that you understand what is going on. So that's why we have these compliance summaries. They're plain language things, kind of dumbing it down, so to speak. And I hate to use that expression because it's not, making it like, oh, you can't read this if you don't have a certain intelligence level. It's just, legalese is a pain to get through. You're working, you're trying to figure out what's going on with a rule or statute in your state. And our experts take a look at it and they've worked with this kind of thing and they can say, oh, this is what it means. So they bring years and years of experience and knowledge and, break things down so that it's understandable. So for example, you're in Kansas and you're looking for something on compensability, brings up some subtopics there. And let's just say it's idiopathic injuries. Who knows? And you get there, and so there you go. It's a very short kind of thing, but the words arising out of and in the course of employment will not be interpreted to include accident or injury which arose either directly or indirectly from idiopathic causes. So there you go. Or, hernia. That's, not an uncommon situation. This gives you just the nutshell. In a nutshell, here's what you need to know about when hernia is compensable in Kansas. So, there you go. Very easy to understand, easy to use. And then you say, okay, well, I need a little bit more than that. Okay, now I get the topic here, but, I'm really digging into something substantive here. Well, you click the link and it takes you to the full rule or statute. So you get it right there from the horse's mouth. And that's just a fraction of what we offer on Simply Research. All kinds of stuff, and we try to get you a sneak peek of some of these things in these videos. But like I said, the best way to do it, sign up for that free trial. You can go and dig around and see if this is going to be of any use to you. If it is, let us know. We'll get you in on that $99 a month deal if that's what you're looking for. If you need something bigger, we have other options available. So something to consider, and we hope you do. Another thing that we want you to consider, this is a fun one. It's been a while since this posted, but I've been meaning to come back to it in one of these videos because, as you know, if you read our site on the regular, Chris Parker puts together these very interesting, helpful, informative, what do you think features where it gives you the facts and, presents a question based on those facts, and then you kind of match wits with the court. Now, this was one about a guy who was, getting workers' compensation benefits and then was also, doing a side hustle here. And, I can't resist because we've got the side hustle is he was working at a bar, and the bar was called Shady McGrady's. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because, we want to see what Shady McGrady is all about, and what's going on there that he's only making like $20 a night, so it's like, who knows what's up. The interesting thing about this is Shady McGrady's does not have a website, but what they do have is a Facebook page. So I thought that would be instructive. This is kind of fun, right? Go check out this little Facebook page that Shady McGrady's has. It gives you kind of the human dimension behind the black and white, behind the story here. So let's take a peek real quick. Go ahead and boom. So there's Shady McGrady's. First of all, they had I guess they put in place a no smoking rule. So there you go. No more smoking inside, you nerds. And there we go. They were closed for a few days. I'm not sure if they've reopened because that's the last thing they posted. But if anyone out there knows anything about Shady McGrady's, reach out to us. They're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This guy had a side hustle there, making, I don't know what it said. I'm not even on Facebook, so I guess I'm shut down from taking a look at it. But the story itself ended up with, there's this guy making $20 cash per night. Hopefully this wasn't like a 6-hour shift or something like that. What a deal, unless he was just there for fun, who knows? But anyway, was he entitled to total disability benefits? Well, nope. The court said his injury did not prevent him from working the other job. and that gig at Shady McGrady's, proved it. So, just a few of the interesting things that we have for you on workerscompensation.com. And these compliance type features are driven by simply research, as was this case right here. Another interesting one. If you've been to Kentucky, I love the state of Kentucky, by the way. It's just such a great place. Louisville's a wonderful place. But anyway, Jim Beam, bourbon and Kentucky go hand in hand. They're synonymous. So here's a case where a contractor was delivering fuel to Jim Beam, at their distillery. He gets hurt on the job, gets workers' compensation from his employer, who's subject to the contract with Jim Beam. And Jim Beam says, well, wait a minute. Kentucky has this up the ladder defense. So they're claiming that when the worker sues them for premises liability, a negligence tort. So he brings the tort of premises liability against Jim Beam. And they say, no, we're up the ladder. Okay, so we get the protections of the exclusive remedy rule. And there is a provision of Kentucky law that covers this, and it's the up the ladder defense. So basically, if sort of like a statutory employee situation, it's an employer-employee situation, where if that worker was doing the kind of work under this subcontracting arrangement, was doing the kind of work that Jim Beam was in the business of, then sure, that would apply. And the workers' compensation coverage that inured to the employer would also work up the ladder to the contractor here being Jim Beam. Okay, so that's what they claim. Now the court, this is the appeals court, the trial court didn't really go for it, and neither did the appeals court, because they're saying, well, we're not sure what fuel delivery has to do with Jim Beam's business. Jim Beam's argument was not only are they a distiller making bourbon, but they're also in the tourism industry. And so somehow there was this connection that, and the reason that they're in the tourism industry, by the way, is because of the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky. If you've been to Kentucky, that's one of the hot tourist attractions. Aside, my experience in Kentucky, there's at least, like I said, I love Louisville. So Louisville has some amazing parks. You got to get out there and check out the parks. They're a legacy of Frederick Olmsted, and it's a great legacy. Anyway, that's an aside. A big thing is going to be the Bourbon Trail, obviously, for tourists. They're going to come there, and there's all these distillers. You know them by name. Bourbon's a hot thing right now. So anyway, so that's Jim Beam's argument. Well, we're in the tourism industry, so somehow that equated to being in the business of fueling and things like that. And that was a little bit of a tenuous argument. And ultimately, the appeals court says, well, regardless of whether you're saying you're in the bourbon business or the tourism business, either way, your work doesn't involve delivering fuel like this guy was doing. So you're not going to get the protection of the up the ladder defense. And you're going to have to face this negligence tort for premises liability. So that's an interesting thing. And, they kind of spell it out here when they say, the purpose of the up the ladder defense is to discourage a contractor from subcontracting work that is a regular or recurrent part of its business to an irresponsible subcontractor in an attempt to avoid the expense of workers' compensation benefits. The purpose is not to shield owners or contractors from potential tort liability, but to assure that contractors and subcontractors provide workers' compensation coverage. So that, what they're saying is Jim Beam's got it wrong. It's not a shield. It's to protect the workers, and not to say like, oh, well, we're not going to worry about workers' compensation coverage because the company the employer's got it. We contracted with them. They've got it. We don't have to worry about it. And what they're saying is, no, that's not how it works. You're on the hook, for everyone that's responsible for this employment situation. it's also going to be responsible for workers' compensation coverage. That's the grand bargain, right? But it's not, you're not going to be able to turn that around and say, okay, well, workers' comp kicked in with his employer. So, if I had an unsafe premises, well, he doesn't get his day in court. And the court says, no, 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 that's not how the up the ladder defense works. So anyway, those are a couple of things that you can check out on our site. We think that we've got some interesting stuff here for you. And we hope that this has been worth your while. And we hope that you have a wonderful day. And once again, if anyone out there knows anything about Shady McGrady's, drop us a line. We want to know if they've reopened, what's going on, and if they're going to start paying their, nighttime people a little bit better. All right. Thanks so much and have a great day.